folks, welcome back to Frailing at Life with me, Banjo Jen. I'm sorry that it's been a while since I've done anything. This shoulder has still been dodgy for a couple of months, but it's getting there a little bit. I can play a little bit more than I've been able to recently, so I thought I'd hop on and just do something nice with you. So I want to slow it down and do a lovely little lullaby today. I know that when you're learning, one of the goals is always to get faster at playing and you just want to do stuff quickly. But I feel like with the banjo, people are always kind of wanting to race it. And, you know, some tunes sound so cool played fast, obviously. It's great when you can really get up some speed. But I think sometimes people forget that the banjo can sound really beautiful when it's played slowly as well, and people tend to avoid playing it slowly. So I thought we'd do a little lullaby. You know, maybe you're driving your family crazy trying to learn the banjo, and, you know, maybe this little gentle piece would just kind of put them at ease. You could play it to the kids to get them to sleep, maybe. But it's a beautiful song, Hobo's Lullaby. So what I might do is just sing through it and you can play along, and then afterwards I'll maybe just go through a few bits that you can have a play around with. But if you want to just play along, it's dead easy. It's basically like 4 rounds on C. When I say rounds, I just mean 4 lots of the Frailing strum. So 4 on C, 4 on F chord, 4 on G, 4 on C. Okay, and that pattern just keeps repeating. So the melody is, well, I'll just sort of count it through. It's like a C2, hang on, C2, 3, 4, F2, 3, 4, G2, 3, 4, and C2, 3, 4, and again, C2, 3, 4, and F2, 3, 4, G2, 3, 4, and C2, 3, 4. That's all it is, okay? With the last G, you can put a G7 in just before it goes back to the C. You'll hear that. So I'm just going to sort of play it through as I would play it, and maybe just have a little play along with the basic Frailing strum to start with, and then yeah, I'll show you kind of what I do. I don't really do anything fancy with this. It's just such a pretty little song. All right then, let's have a go. 2, 3, 4. Go to sleep, you weary hobo. Let the towns drift slowly by. Can't you hear those steel rails humming? That's the hobo's lullaby. Do not think about tomorrow. Let tomorrow come and go. Tonight you're in a nice warm boxcar, safe from all the wind and snow. Go to sleep, you weary hobo. Let the towns drift slowly by. Can't you hear those steel rails humming? That's the hobo's lullaby. I know the police, they cause you trouble. They cause trouble everywhere. sounds drift slowly by. Can't you hear those steel rails humming? That's the hobo's lullaby. That's the hobo's lullaby. There you go. What a beautiful song, eh? It was written back in the 30s, and lots of people have sung it. Woody Guthrie sang it, and Emmylou Harris did a lovely version, and Arlo Guthrie, and Billy Bragg. There's loads of versions you can have a look at. But that's my little simple version, and like I say, it's really nice to just play slowly, and that's a really beautiful song. So all I do really in that is completely base everything I do on the chords. Okay, I'm not really putting in anything very fancy at all, and this is the beauty of songs and frailing banjo and just playing along to a song. I know people get really bogged down with you know, what note are you playing there, what string are you hitting, and the truth is I don't really think about exactly what string I'm hitting a lot of the time. Sometimes I do because I want it to make a particular note, but a lot of the time I'm just kind of working with the chord and just hitting any string, because you know, you can harmonize with your voice. If you're singing the melody, then you can be hitting any string in that chord and it's gonna probably sound okay, you know, because it's in the chord and it's gonna harmonize. So if you know a basic chord structure to a song like that, which is just this particular instance, I'm playing it just C, F, G and C, everything I'm doing, I might be putting some hammer-ons and stuff in, but it's all just in the chord shape, you know, it's nothing like major at all. So you know, I would start, if you want to start on the melody note, it's that sort of second string of the C. Go to sleep, you weary. And I know what I sometimes do is, if I'm just holding a chord and I'm not really doing anything other than the basic frailing strum, I sometimes kind of hammer on the chord, you know, kind of, if that's being held for say like 4 rounds, on like, you know, the sort of halfway point at the 3rd kind of go, I might hammer on. So it might be like, go to sleep, you weary hobo. I'm sort of exaggerating that, but just sometimes, you know, lifting your fingers slightly off and on again in a chord just feels natural to give you a little bit of emphasis sometimes. So anyway, you've got kind of 4 in your C. Go to sleep, you weary. That time I just hammered on the bass. So I mean, I do it different every time, and I'm hoping you get to this stage where you'll just put in the bits that kind of feel natural to you. Go to sleep, you weary, and then you're going up to the F, hobo. And I would literally just kind of walk between that 3rd string and the bass string. And then in the F shape, what I'll often do with this song is the little kind of phantom hammer-on in F that I went through in one of the other tutorials. So if you haven't done that one, maybe have a look back, because there's a tutorial on the F-shaped chord, and in that I play the tune Little Maggie quite a bit to demonstrate a bluegrass sound with the F chord. So if you hit the 1st and 2nd string as your striking string for your strike, strum, thumb even, or the bum ditty, you know, if you're striking those strings but you're hammering on the 3rd one with your middle finger, you can get a kind of really notey sound. A phantom hammer-on. I don't know if I'm using that terminology correctly, I don't really care. I'm going to call it that. So you're sort of hammering on, but you're not striking that string, you're just hammering on with your middle finger, but your striking hand is hitting the 1st and 2nd string alternately. Now in this song, I'm doing that really kind of gently, you know, because it's a really gentle pace. Whereas if you're speeding it up, like something like Little Maggie, you know, it sounds quite cool as a sort of bluegrassy kind of sound, but it's slow in this, you know. And then, you know, let it go for the G. Da, 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 da. So I would probably naturally do a sort of second string, bass, middle, up to the C, da, da, da. You know, you're kind of harmonising with what you're singing there, climbing upwards. Slowly by. And when I go up to that by, I'd usually do a little hammer on that first string with your ring finger when you're in C. Da, 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 da. It just sounds really nice in this song, okay? So let the downs drift slowly by. And there you go, I sort of hammer into the chord to start the next phrase. Da, 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 back to the F, to the G, the whole. And then when it's finishing the sort of phrase, Hobo's Lullaby, ho, that sort of middle string, your G string, your third string, Hobo's Lullaby. It's kind of a little walk down, and I would double thumb that, probably, I think, most of the time. So if you did the old I can't speak tonight. Old Joe Clark tutorial with me, which had a bit of the double thumbing in when you sort of walk down, you know, strings. So we've got a first string to get your G7 sound, and then I'm just doing a thumb in between, walking it down to the next fret, the second fret, and then open and a thumb to land on your C. So it's back to your C. That's the Hobo's Lullaby. And of course, if you're not finishing it, you'd go straight back into your Frailing strum in the C. That's the Hobo's Lullaby. And I might do another sort of hammer on my ring finger or on the bass string. So in C, every string sounds quite nice as a hammer on, to be honest. I use a lot on the bass string, I use a lot with my ring finger on that first string. Sometimes as well, when you're there, if you want to put a really extra little fancy bit in, you could put your little finger and do a little pull off on that third fret. So you're in your C chord and you'd have a little sort of pull off with your ring finger, and then you could do a pull off with your little finger, and then you could do a hammer on with your ring finger. And all these things are just kind of little fill-ins. So, you know, like I said, you don't have to do them. You can literally just do the basic Frailing strum in the chord, but you can start to kind of get a bit of a groove and think, oh yeah, that sort of feels nice to go there. So, you know, it's just putting in little things like that where you think it's appropriate. So just play it through a few times and see what you would do. Sometimes if you're in the F chord, rather than lifting your fingers off to go to the G, I think maybe once or twice when I was playing it through there, I went up to the F shape 2 frets along, which will give you your closed G. Yeah, so it might be that you're going, go to sleep, you weary Hobo, F to the G, da 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 da, back to the C, da 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 da. Yeah, so that F shape can move up to there. In that sort of final verse, I then went up to the C as a bar chord, because obviously you've got your C there, and then you've also got your C with your F shape again, coming from your F and your G up here, right up till your ring finger and little finger are on the 10th fret, where your banjo probably has a little mark. That's the C, right up there. And then on that 10th fret there, where the mark is, you've got your F as a bar chord, and your 12th where there's another mark, you got your G, yeah? So you've got an F and a G right up there, and your bar chord C. So if you wanted to vary it a little bit, you can play your sort of shapes up there, and that's C if you're brave enough to try and grab that. It is a bit harder, that F-shaped chord, to kind of grab it up the neck, but it's good practice for you, so you might want to try doing that. Okay, so have a play around with it, because the structure's really simple. It's just 4 lots on C, 4 lots on F, 4 lots on G, 4 lots on C, maybe put in that G7 in if you want. So, you know, go to sleep, you weary hobo, F to the G, let the towns drift slowly by to the C, ring finger. Can't you hear those steel rails humming? To the G, that's the hobo's lullaby. So you can do that little double thumbing walk down. Okay, so that's it really. It's dead simple, but it's a really nice one to play at that lilting pace, to have a go at kind of putting things in. I'm hoping, like I say, that you're kind of at that stage now, if you've been following on the sort of tutorials from the ones I did right at the start, that were absolutely from scratch beginner ones. You know, if you're at sort of the stage where you've gone through all that kind of stuff, you know, you can hopefully hear stuff a little bit now, where you might put, you know, you can sort of start hearing the melody and where that might be on the strings. You can start hearing where there's a gap where you want to put a little hammer on, or kind of emphasize the chord again, you know, or like that phantom hammer on in the F. Pulling off as you let go of the chord. Quite often, as I let go of the F to go to the G, I'll sort of pull on the string to kind of let it ring a little bit as it releases the F and goes to the G. So these are all things that you'll start to feel a little bit more kind of confident having a go at. And yeah, just don't get too bogged down about what string you've got to be hitting when, because that's not what this is about really. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I don't use tabs. I have no idea how to use tabs. I have no interest in using tabs at all. It's way too much work for my little brain. So, you know, if you know the chord structure, that's all you need to know. It really is all you need to know. Your melody is going to be somewhere in those chords 9 times out of 10. You know, the notes that you need. So you should be able to kind of start working it out really, and just that's really good practice anyway, and doing things by ear. So yeah, have a little go at the Hobo's Lullaby, and just sing that chorus back through one more time. So we're starting on the C. Go to sleep, you weary hobo, let the towns drift slowly by. Can't you hear those steel rails humming? That's the hobo's lullaby. There you go, beautiful. No one can complain at you if you're playing that, trying to learn that in the house, I'm sure. So there you go, that's the Hobo's Lullaby. Have a play around with it, and I'll see you soon, hopefully. Hopefully my shoulder will keep behaving itself. Might do a few in spooky G modal sawmill tuning next, because I think that would be a really nice development to go through with you. As usual, if you can like any of the Banjo Jen stuff, my other YouTube channel, and all my socials and stuff, that really helps me out, and that's something you can do for free for me if you feel the urge or the, you know, kindness to do that. All right, see you next time. Cheers guys.